So, you're still optimistic about the market as a whole after a week in which we received advice from ARM and Western Dig, and now from Intel and Microchip. Well, no, I'm optimistic about businesses who are assisting Nvidia or have ties to the GPU. It's an argument then. Get your Nvidia keychain quickly for less than $10. We're offering a huge discount for the first 100 orders exclusively. As you can see from the Amazon conference call, they are fully aware that they must invest in AI. They went so far as to say that Nvidia is completely sold out, and they will likely remain so until 2025. Nobody has been deterred from believing that Nvidia will continue to be the main benefactor by the expenditure plans that we have heard and that have been confirmed by companies like Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, and Amazon. The market is undergoing a significant rotation at the moment. In the end, people are worried about the consumer and if the Fed is falling behind. The primary problem, however, which is that Nvidia is probably going to be sold out for a while, appears to be unaffected by any of that. Amazon has to make its own chips, of course, if you listen to them, but that's a defensive tactic because they can't get enough. You hear them designing and building their own chips. Indeed, this is how I view Amazon. Given how much the stock is down today, I believe it's crucial. I would purchase it. Amazon needs to build hangars and purchase a lot of planes because they know there is a lot of business. Now, you don't need passengers on planes when you're purchasing a lot of them. You have to wager that they are correct when they initially spend a lot of money purchasing the planes. I'm willing to wager that Jassy is correct. An alternative parallel would be that they are purchasing a Stradivarius, which is not something that can be learned like a violin. I'm looking for an equivalent because a Stradivarius is a little more difficult to learn and teach. People are being offended because they need to realize that it takes time and that they can't immediately flick a switch. The response to their mention of the Olympics was, "Are you kidding?" Watching the Olympics and cutting back on purchases makes it seem like the nation is in 2012 mode. It's not me who's watching the Olympics. Yes, I am aware that was strange. We did have the article yesterday about the DOJ contacting Nvidia's competitors who have been protesting. And Jeff has a note today stating that clients are phoning to inquire about possible delays in Blackwell. It is slower indeed. However, they never stated that it would be shipped in large quantities. Jensen never stated that it will ship in volume at this time. Therefore, everyone who believed it would ship in volume should go back and speak with him. Never. Correct. The question of whether or not there will be a return on invested capital remains. As an aside, the hyperscalers have consistently responded with yes, and Jassy agreed. What about Zuckerberg? Do you recall? He discussed generative AI. It will grow quickly, according to Jassy, and it will mostly be developed from the ground up on the cloud, which, as you can imagine, gives those companies the chance to keep expanding. We should concentrate on the cloud, as we haven't heard of any slowness at all. However, our attention is on the people who decide how to allocate capital. Just one thing, please. You can say a lot. If I've angered you, I'm sorry. This is a huge day, so I got a little excited, but I regret it. The narrative of the AI revolution remains intact. Despite the market's shakiness, all of our checks indicate that now is not the time to worry. Elliott Management has advised investors that Nvidia is in a bubble, that AI technology is overhyped, and that the hype doesn't match the reality, according to the Financial Times. You disagree completely, don't you? I couldn't be more at odds. I believe we even talked about this when we were here prior to conference calls and earnings. Let's examine the data. Take a look at the Azure acceleration that Lisa Su discussed at AMD. In terms of the acceleration they're aiming for in the second half, we witnessed what we assumed Azure was only hinting at. Speaking about commercialization, the time has come. The bears have been there for years, yet the haters have persisted in their hatred. At the moment, shouting fire in a packed tech theater is simple. We don't see it because the value matches the hype, and it's not simply the call. In fact, I believe the street is underestimating the trillions of dollars in AI capital expenditures that will occur in the next 3 to 4 years across all tech. Nothing we've seen here contradicts that. No, Dan, you're correct. They are all sticking to their capital expenditure plans. Revenue growth at AWS accelerated, increasing by 19%. However, the most significant question is whether you will eventually see that return on investment. You think that will be the case, But what do you see about upcoming applications that could allay any concerns some investors might have from an enterprise standpoint? In a few weeks, Godfather B. Jensen will be in IND to speak with us. Enterprise interest in AI is currently 45 times higher. As we have previously stated, we are witnessing use cases in the fields of healthcare, banking, insurance, and retail. The expenditure is present, and the discussions between Lisa Su, Nadella, and Sundar suggest that the modernization process is only getting started. Betting against this would be like betting against Tim Cook and Apple's $2.2 trillion potential install base, even though there may be a small gap between capital expenditures and income. It's difficult to predict if Apple will experience a revolution in AI. Do you think it could last a year? Would you become anxious if the rhetoric didn't alter and it didn't happen within a year? We would need to reevaluate if, in January or February, we haven't seen any software monetization outside of the Magnificent Seven, and if the second, third, or fourth derivatives aren't apparent. However, at this moment, I feel more confident based on our earnings and checks. I've never seen anything bad about Bill McDermott. He's turned around before. And even though they are adding fuel to the fire, I'll believe McDermott, Su, Nadella, and Cook if they are seeing something. According to a source, customers like Microsoft, Google, and Meta may be impacted by the Blackwell chip delay. Do you believe the market will be impacted by this? The Blackwell chip series might be delayed by roughly 90 days, in my opinion, but Nvidia is so far ahead that nobody could grab market share during that time. As a crucial link in the AI supply chain, their revenue may be delayed by a quarter or two, but the effect will be minimal. It might delay the development of AI infrastructure among the 4 large corporations that we refer to as hyperscalers, those that invest billions of dollars in AI infrastructure. I am aware that Sam brought up the topic of AI hype. You're generally optimistic about technology, but will pressure to the downside rise if an activist fund like Elliott Management says AI is overhyped. We must differentiate between what I refer to as AI 1.0 and AI 2.0. The infrastructure building names that I feel comfortable with are AI 1.0, semiconductor, data networking, and data server firms. During their recent calls, the 4 hyperscalers stated that they plan to invest $227 billion in AI infrastructure over the course of the next 12 months, with additional funding to follow. Those plans won't change, in my opinion. On the other hand, AI 2.0 stocks assert that they will make money via AI. When I see it, I'll believe it. I don't yet need the AI 2.0 stocks for my thesis. I just need the AI 1.0 stocks. Get your Nvidia keychain quickly for less than $10. We're offering a huge discount for the first 100 orders exclusively. This merely makes grammatical corrections while maintaining the original script.